Hello students, welcome to everyone. So today I'm back with this video where we are going to discuss some last few topics of economics chapter 1 development that we have been studying. So let's start. So today the topics that we are going to discuss in this video are number 1, income and other criteria. That is the first topic, and then we are going to discuss the next topic, that is called public facilities. And the third topic that we are going to discuss, the third and the last topic that we are going to discuss today is sustainability or sustainable development. So, in our last class, we studied about an individualistic approach of development, in which we studied that other than income, what are the things that a person may need to live well. So, other than income, there were some points like, say, respect and equality, freedom, security. These were the things which an individual required to be developed, or you can say their aspirations or goals for development. Now in this part of your chapter we are going to discuss that what are the things for a nation that we consider other than income, because in our last class we studied about per capita income and all these things. So what for a nation is important? Now let us understand that with the help of an example. Okay, so this example which is given in your book also, you can find as table number 1.3. Here the per capita income of some states are given. It is of the year 2013-14, not recent. Okay, for recent you can just google it and find out, but just for understanding the example this is given. So you can see here the per capita incomes of these three states are given: Maharashtra, Kerala, Bihar. So from this data, it is clear that Maharashtra is the most developed state, because the per capita income of Maharashtra is the highest. But is it only per capita income that we consider while finding out whether a state is developed or not? We don't, right? There are other things, like for a person it's not only income but other things. Same goes for a state or any country. It's not only the income of that state or country that we consider. There are other factors that we consider. Now what are those factors? Let us see that. Those factors are: number 1, IMR, that is infant mortality rate. It is the number of children that die before the age of 1 year as a proportion of, means out of 1000 live births in that particular year. Okay, that is IMR. Number 2 is literacy rate. Literacy rate is very common, I think you have heard. It's like the literate population who are 7 year, means above the age of 7 year. And net attendance ratio, number 3 is net attendance ratio. It is the total number of children of age group 50, as in 14 and 15, who are attending school, out of the total children who are in the age group of 14 and 15. Okay, like in a country, how many children are there of 14-15 age and how many of them are attending school? That will be the population attending school will be the net attendance ratio. So these three things give us an idea of how is the state going. Now if we go back to those three states which we saw as in our last table, the per capita income, here some other details are given. So the infant mortality rate of the three states is given. So Maharashtra is 24, Kerala is 12, and Bihar is 42. Means infant mortality rate, the less it is, the better it is for the state. So here Kerala is doing really well, only 12. Literacy rate also you can see 94, highest is Kerala, 82 Maharashtra, 62 Bihar. And the net attendance ratio, you can see Maharashtra 64, Kerala 78, and Bihar 35. So even here Kerala is performing well. Now if I ask you which one is the most developed state out of these three, what would you say? Would you stick to your answer which you gave after seeing the per capita table, that is it is Maharashtra? So I don't think so one will stick to this, because after seeing this table you can understand that if you consider all the points, that is the per capita income, infant mortality rate, literacy rate, and net attendance ratio, Kerala is performing way better than the other two states. So Kerala can be called as the developed state compared to the other two states. So what we understand from here is, though a person in Maharashtra may have more money than the people in Kerala, but because of that money, it's not that they can be called more developed. You know why? That brings us to the next topic, that is public facilities. Now, the reason why they can't is because money cannot buy all the goods and services that a person may need to live well. Okay, like you may have a lot of money, but that cannot assure you that you will have a good life or you'll have everything you want. So you may say like, अरे मैम क्या बोल रही है, अरे पैसा है तो सब कुछ है. If you have money, then we don't have to think about anything. Why is like that? Okay, I'll prove to you. Let us take an example. Say, if you have a lot of money, can you have a pollution-free environment? You may say that, oh, we will buy air purifiers, but then you can't take that air purifier everywhere you go outside, and it's not possible, right? I'm talking about as a for a whole, for the whole society. Then can you assure that if you are rich, you can have unadulterated medicines and all? Unadulterated means milawat ke bina, like pure medicines. Can you have? You can't. Best example is this COVID situation. Just tell me, if you have a lot of money, can you be saved from corona? Can you be saved from infectious diseases? We can't, right? You can see so many celebrities, ministers, so big people, rich people, they are getting infected. So money cannot give you everything that you want in your life. That is totally clear. I hope you agree to that and you understand that, right? So how does it happen? It can only happen by a collective effort. दैट मीन्स सब एक साथ आके ही ये सब चीज़ें हम कर सकते हैं. दैट विल बी चीप ऑल्सो एंड दैट इज़ द बेस्ट वे वी कैन गेट दीज सर्विसेज ऑल्सो. ओके, सो कलेक्टिव एफर्ट्स एज इन सारे साथ आके ही हम कर सकते हैं सोसाइटी के लोग. If everyone work towards a society which has good healthcare system, which has less pollution, and then only we can work it. And obviously government plays a very important role here, because they are collecting taxes from us, and the public facilities that we are talking about, it is the responsibility of the government to provide us, and as a society we also have to work towards it. That is how we can get better schools or better hospitals, or housing facilities, whatever these facilities. These are called public facilities because they are for the public. And states like Kerala are doing better because there the government, the society as a whole, they work towards making Kerala a better place. And it is a collective effort which is making Kerala a better place. So from these examples, we can understand that education and health, these are the things which are the most important indicators while we see or while we compare states. Same goes for the countries at international level. What happens is, there is a report called the Human Development Report, which is prepared by UNDP, that is United Nations Development Program. If you see in this table 1.6, which is the Human Development Report of 2014, you can see that other than the gross national income, the other factors which are considered to compare countries are life expectancy at birth. That means how much a child will live, means how healthy is the child while the child is born. Literacy rates for 15 plus population, and finally it gives us the HDI rank, Human Development Index rank. So here we can have a comparative study of all the nations and see that not only it's money, but there are factors or indicators like education and health of the population of a country, which helps in comparing these countries, and thus come to the Human Development Index, which is like a list of all the countries where we can compare how the countries are performing. While we talk about these health and education indicators, there is one important health indicator, which is the BMI, given in your chapter activity 3. So what is BMI? BMI is body mass index. It is an indicator for an adult that how nourished is that adult, means how is the health of that adult person. So all the students, all of you can try to find this out for any adults in your family. It's very easy to find out the body mass index. There is a formula through which you can find out. And what is the formula? It's the first you have to know the weight of that person in kgs, that is you need to find the weight, and then you have to divide the weight of that person in kgs by the square of the height of that person, which would be in meters. And after finding out that BMI, as you can see in this table, if the BMI of that person is within 18.5 to 25, then that person will be called a healthy person. But if it is less than 18.5, that means the person is undernourished, and if it is more than 25, then it will mean that the person is overweight. And these are the different indicators which tell us about a person's health or education levels, which can help us find out the different levels of development of the people in a country. Now, moving on, our last topic is sustainable development or sustainability. This is the last topic of this chapter. Now, sustainability or sustainable development in general means that it is a kind of development which takes place without compromising the future generation or the needs of the future generation. The meaning of the term sustainable is that something which is now present and it would be there in future also. So sustainable development is a concept which means the present and the future, plus the future means the development which we are doing now is not posing a threat to the future, but we are also looking after the future's needs, and that is how we are doing the development now. In this context, two examples are discussed here. The first example is of the groundwater in India. So we all know that how groundwater is overused, and due to this reason, many scientists and researchers have been suggesting that in the next few years there will be a huge shortage of groundwater, that is the main source of drinking water and water used for all other purposes. The second example is of crude oil, and we all know, I think, very nicely that what's happening around nowadays and the scarcity of crude oil, due to which the prices are high, and especially our country doesn't have much resources of the oil that we need, so we import a lot of oil from outside, and they are saying that within few years there'll be huge scarcity, and that's why people are nowadays trying to find out other alternatives of crude oil and what can be used. So these issues are happening due to the unsustainable use of these things like water or oil that we are doing. We are using it now, but we have no surety whether our future generations will be able to use it, because it may be exhausted till then. So that is what sustainability is all about. And as a nation or as a state or as a collective society, what we should try to do is make development sustainable as far as possible. That is the only way we can survive, and we can let our future generations survive peacefully. I hope you understood whatever has been discussed in this video. If you have any questions, you can write it down in the comment section. I'll be happy to reply. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, then please like it and share it. And we will meet in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.